We go, okay, we're gonna do a 60 to 150. And they're like, well, it would really be better in a 100 to 200 race. It already takes a certain type of person to buy a Viper. It then takes another type of person to modify that Viper. Imagine the type of person it takes to build a business modifying those Vipers, right? Imagine that personality. The Calvo Motorsports Viper is really the rolling reflection of Antonio Calvo's personality. The guy is extremely extroverted, loud, funny, flashy, and it's all about more, 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 more. It's the most Texas car ever, right? Every time you go to Texas, it's always the same thing, right? 1,000 horsepower, stock brakes. It's the most Texas that it gets, right? He's got slicks on the back, stock wheels on the front, 4-figure horsepower stock brakes. That's a Texas build, right? Fortunately, these guys started with an ACR. So downforce, brakes, the fastest car Chrysler's ever made. So you're starting with that. They then built the motor, starts as an 8.4 liter. They stroke it to 9 liters, and they add twin 76 millimeter turbochargers. So depending on what map and what fuel and what day, you're talking about anywhere from 1,100 at the wheels to 2,000 horsepower at the wheels, which is an absolutely unfathomable number. I mean, you tell someone something has 2,000 horsepower and they go, I don't even comprehend that. What does that even mean? It's got 2,000 horsepower and a license plate? It's got 2,000 horsepower and you just drove it here? Like, what do you mean? For these guys, there will never be enough things to brag about. It's always about being the fastest, the craziest, refusing to really believe. And then anytime something else got close, there was always kind of an excuse. You know what I mean? Oh, well, if we were running 4 less PSI on the tires. Oh, well, we were running map 3. If it was map 6, and yeah. Oh, well, it's the ambient temperature is 92, and meanwhile, okay. Having said that, Holy Mother of God, they weren't wrong. They may have had some dodgy excuses, but they weren't wrong. And the car was bananas. And the numbers that they were taught, it does a 240 standing half mile. You know what I mean? It's like the lap times at Circuit of the Americas are like, Le Mans cars, whatever. I've never in my life been in anything that pushed on my chest with the force of that Viper in 4th gear. The Viper, we're talking about a rear-wheel drive car that does 100 to 150 in 2.83 seconds. It recorded yesterday the fastest 60 to 150 I've ever personally seen. It did a 5.05. 5.05, 60 to 150. And to do that in the Viper, you start in 2nd. So it doesn't hook up until 4th. 5.05, 60 to 150, but 2.8 of that is 100 to 150. So you spin them for 3 seconds till you get to 100, put it in 4th, and floor it, and the needle goes, and you're at 100. I've never in my life felt anything like that. Now, Sissio pulled out a data log from his phone. He's got some GTR runway car that does it in 4 something, 4.7 or 4.5. But it's 2,200 horsepower, so whatever. You're talking about rear-wheel drive, 9 liters, twin snails, and a sequential box with downforce. 1,200 pounds of downforce at 150 miles an hour. The front end lifts because the wing is so gnarly. And it just doesn't grip at all. It's got a very advanced motorsport-based traction control system, so it will keep accelerating, but it'll be like, it'll go. But then just 4th, I've never felt anything like it, ever. The force on your chest is proportional to the throttle. So it's just, you know what I mean? Like I've never felt anything like it. The force was so heavy and the straightaway disappeared so fast. I mean, you came out of the corner, wound out 3rd kinda, put it in 4th, went, and you're at the end of the straightaway. In the 60 to 160, They had to turn the boost down. What happens with cars like this is they can't hook up. First, second, third gear, they don't hook up. So they want to do roll races from 100 miles an hour. That's what they want. We go, okay, we're gonna do a 60 to 150. And they're like, well, it would really be better in a 100 to 200 race. Well, would it? What a practical build you have there. How many people are gonna get to find you to roll race you starting from 100? What is the point of this thing exactly? They'll talk about tracks like they're at them. They're not. They're on the 130, 2 o'clock in the morning. Go look them up on YouTube. Look up Calvo Motorsports Viper on YouTube. How many videos are you gonna see from tracks and how many videos are you gonna see from highways? If that's what you can get for writing a $250,000 check, not that that isn't a lot of money, it is. But it is an experience unavailable at any price from anywhere else. And that's what you're buying. But when I got to Florida and I saw it there and I was like, I'm gonna get to have a go in that. The problem it had in the East Coast Regional, they brought it out and it had triple fuel pumps. And they told us, if the thing gets to a quarter tank, stay out of the boost because it will slosh the fuel rearward in the tank and the pickups are in the front and you'll run and drive. I guess we got kind of close to that during the street drives because one of the fuel pumps of the 3 took a poo. We felt bad. We thought we did it. It turns out, I think it was on its way out anyway. So what they did in between was update it to a new single better fuel pump. Didn't improve the fuel economy, but you didn't have to worry about running it dry anymore, which in that car is a real problem. I mean, that car is, again, I have never seen a four-wheeled vehicle go through fuel like that, ever. And the fact that it's E85 made it worse. You know, E85 is, I hate E85. E85 is like, it's such a nightmare. No one ever has enough. you go through it 4 times as fast as you go through gasoline, and nobody ever brings enough. A pull, a gallon. A pull, a gallon. You wind out 3rd and 4th gear, it's a gallon of gas. That was the other thing about Sorted. We made up these games. You know, you just make up games. And you have no idea. You know what I mean? It's not like we made up the games based on the capabilities of the cars. We made up the games based on what we wanted to see them do. And to us, 10 laps of a racetrack is not that big of a deal, but a lot of the cars we had out there, Tanner referred to as one pull wonders. You know, it made all the power for the one pull, and either it just got heat soaked or it did something else and a lot of the cars couldn't really make it more than 2 or 3 flying laps, which is a problem for sports cars. Now, it should be said that the cars that made it to the final, for the most part, could, even with enormous horsepower.
Homeowners insurance may just seem like some boring thing that you have to get a mortgage, but it can be a surprising way to actually save a lot of money. Policy Genius is your advocate to do that. They shop your policy and your insurance needs amongst all the major carriers and find you the best deal. In fact, every time it renews, Policy Genius does it all over again. They check everybody else, they make sure you're getting the best deal, and if there's a better deal out there, they switch you for free. Policy Genius can also bundle your homeowner's policy with your car insurance policy and save you even more. Policy Genius has saved their combined auto and home insurance customers an average of $1,127 a year. So visit the link in the description below, tell them a little bit about yourself and your property, and they'll tell you if you're getting the best deal. Be sure to thank them for their support of VINwiki.